Hello, this is FinTech Forum 7 Question Series. FinTech Forum is here to connect early stage FinTech startups with investors. And today we have Alex Schlicher from My Football Space. Alex, thank you for taking your time and thank you for being here. Please tell us a bit about yourself, both work and leisure.
Hey, Frank, thanks for inviting me. It's a pleasure always talking to you. About myself, I'm 44 years old. I'm from Frankfurt, born and raised, married, 2 kids, have spent a lot of time in the financial services industry. And for the last 12 months, I found myself in the shoes of an entrepreneur, setting up my own company in the sports tech space.
Yeah. And which services do you sell, and who are your competitors?
Well, a little bit about my company. I'm totally enthusiastic about football and technology and finance. We have a great football club in Frankfurt, at the moment very successful. I have to say that. So I can see the video even in 5 years' time, and be happy about this. The company is designed to offer digital products which connect fans and clubs in a smoother, in a more modern way, allowing clubs to reach their entire fan base, not only the fans who go to the stadium every other week, who live in the same city, but also being able to address the global fan base. There's a lot of people who have emotions for their clubs, who live abroad, and who love, who want to be part of the club, and we want to capitalize on that. And now with COVID and the situation around not being able to freely move, I think it has become even more transparent to everyone that a digital connection is so important to stay connected. So this is one of our missions to connect clubs and fans in a way easier way. Competitors, there's not so much around there yet, and I assume this is going to change very fast. When I started to have the idea in 2019, towards the end of 2019, there was one competitor. Am I allowed to say the name? Is that of interest?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. You don't need to.
Well, you can Google this. Let's leave it there. But there was really only one competitor which you could Google and find who were doing decent and reasonably sized business in the digital fan and football space. I have to say that we focus on products that are blockchain based. We try to develop products that take advantage of blockchain technology, allowing clubs to offer authentic products in a secure and easy way, and also give them rights. And we thought blockchain is the ideal technology for that. This goes as far as clubs offering things of value, like virtual items, virtual collectibles that fans love to buy and have emotions for, but can't procure physically, which is an enormously successful model in the gaming world. And this is clearly kind of dripping over into many other areas of not only sports. So there are competitors, and in 2019 there was only one, but we have seen last year as the situation that we're living in at the moment has increased and intensified. More competitors have come up. So there's clearly some buzz in this arena, combining blockchain and sports.
I think that's a very interesting idea. So how did you get the idea to create My Football Space, and how you are going to launch it?
To be frank, I had the idea in a classroom, listening to a professor talking about blockchain. Despite my old age, I have decided to do an executive MBA 2 years ago. And back then I was sitting in the classroom and I was having a chat with my mate, really, and talking about technology, and he's also a football enthusiast. And then we thought it would be really nice to be able to purchase a player. Back then, that was the trigger point, and we did a little bit of research, and we understood very quickly there is no such platform where a fan could take a real share of the player. That doesn't mean that we would buy a player per se, like the persona, but having something real that attaches me as a fan to the contract of the player. So I could be in the stadium, I could watch my game, and I could tell my mates, look, those 11 players, I helped to co-fund them, I crowdfunded them, and I own a legitimate piece of them, which of course gives you as a fan a totally different connection to what's going on. It proves your loyalty, it binds you to the club, and also the club has the ability not only to secure funding and financing, but also to see the support of the fan base. So there's a far closer connections. That was a starting point. Now, as with buying rights to own player contracts is regulated quite heavily from FIFA. So we didn't put it off the table entirely, but we reprioritized it. We had a lot of conversations with clubs and people from the sports business industry. And so we refined the product a little bit.
Yeah. And how are you going to launch it?
We're launching it in 2 phases. We're at the B2B side. We have 2 customers at the moment. We've got the B2B customers, which are football clubs, media partners, technology partners, so the business partners. But ultimately, we're going to have the normal football fan as the main partner, which we connect to the club. At the moment, we work quite intensely on the technology and also on the partnerships with the clubs. And we do this really by using a network, not with commercials, advertisement, but going through, I would say, from cold calling to using existing relationships.
Yeah. When it comes to financing your startup, let's say, how did you do it, and what are your learnings you could share with the audience from your fundraising journey so far?
It's been. I'm not sure if this is representative for all startups, but because this has got such a 3 thrilling components. It's finance, it's sports, and it's technology. It's very modern technology. I have to say I had no problems at all finding interest, both with people who want to work with me. We are 9 people now in the company, and also people who want to fund the company, either through management shares or sweat equity, or of course putting real money as risk capital into the company. So we had 3 capital rounds already. We found an advisory board to the company as well, with very skilled individuals, very well established in the industry of venture capital, technology, very successful business owners. So a very interesting recipe of people who invested in the company and are going to work with us, also from sports clubs and the sports industry. So I'm really thrilled. It wasn't necessarily easy, and I wouldn't say I'm the best salesman in the world. I've always tried to speak very authentically about the idea and the passion we have, and also the vision we have. And it was very often, when you talk to people you have not spoken to before, we usually had the following types of answers. Either people said, and out of the, let's say, 100 people we spoke to, which is more, but let's say it was 100%, 1% said, I don't like the idea. I had this not more than twice, and it was quite frustrating. But let's say 2 people said, I don't like the idea. All the others said either, I know someone who could help you, or they said, I want to work with you, or they said, I want to invest in your company. And I had all of these answers a lot, and it was basically for us and my team to decide whom do we really want to work with, and whom do we want to take capital from. So where's the best fit, risk capital to vision? Because it's not just only about taking money, but also taking the right money. You want to take money from people that can support the business idea, that can bring you forward, that can use and leverage their network. And so far it has worked very well. We're now 7 months operational, 8 months operational, and working very hard, building the technology and trying to hit the ground running with clients very soon.
Yeah. So take it a little bit further. Which are the key trends and opportunity you see in financial services in Germany, but also across Europe? Because that's also your
financial services is a bit of a different story. I deliberately stepped out of it in 2018, having worked as a consultant and as a banker. That's where my real legacy is. I did a banking apprenticeship in 1995, so I learned banking from the inside, and worked in an investment banking unit. So I think banks undergo an enormous amount of change at the moment, an enormous amount of transformation. I hope we're stepping out of regulation very soon and starting to focus on business again. And I do think digitization and digital transformation, I mean, it's been, it's been out there for the last 5-6 years, but really for banks to adopt it and embrace it and become truly digital and kind of leave their legacy behind that is very costly and not productive. This is going to be one of the key measures for banks. And this is where the successful banks from the unsuccessful banks will try to, where you will see a bit of an edge, And I think the banks who successfully digitize their business and at the same time can retain their customers and focus on them. I mean, I never really understood why you can't have a banker like you order from Deliveroo, you order food. I mean, the restaurant comes to your home. Why can't you just go to the same type of app and call your banker to come to your place? Why do you have to go to some sort of old-fashioned type of branch, sit there, and then talk to people who are usually mostly, I wouldn't say unmotivated, but it's very old-fashioned. And I think this can be way more digital and inspiring for the customer. So I think this is going to be a trend. And of course, there's a lot of other fintech trends that we see, but I'm not going to stipulate on them. I think the winner is going to be the one who will be the most digital.
So thanks for that, let's say, perception and view on the financial industry. What's on your bookshelf and reading list? So do you still have time to read?
I have time to read. I don't read as much as I would want, but that's actually because my reading light broke 6 months ago. It's too dark in my bedroom, and that's where I usually find time to read. But yeah, I've recently bought a book called Silicon Germany, putting light on how entrepreneurship is done in Germany and how the startup industry is actually happening, and it's comparing it to, of course, to how it's happening in the US and where we could learn and how it is working here. And I have to say, from own experience, I think Germany for sure has got quite some more way to go to embrace the ability to accept failure, and also having the right attitude towards risking capital. I think there's not enough incentive for people to found companies and also to risk finance companies. So we're still very conservative on a really broader scheme and broader perspective. And I think Germany needs that. We have a lot of bright people. And if you come from an engineering background where products have to work only perfectly before you announce them to the market and release them to the market, this is not the right attitude for startups. In startups, it's often about trial and error. You have an idea, you test it, and you fail, and you adjust it, and you hit the market way quicker. And like that, you get feedback from your customers. And it's not about engineering the best product, but really trying to be fast and dynamic. And the surrounding from an investor side, from regulatory side, from a tax perspective, is not really ideal, not yet. And this book stipulates on those points, and it's a very interesting read. It's called Silicon Germany. It's a good read for startup entrepreneurs.
Thank you for that one. I think that's relevant to all our audience. Last but not least, even that this time, maybe it's a long time and you don't remember anymore.
I read the question.
But what's your favorite? What's your favorite place for coffee or a drink out?
I had to think about this one the most. For many reasons. I mean, I don't go out there much anymore. And now with COVID, I mean, I can't remember when I've been out the last time. But there's a lot of great places in Frankfurt. I mean, I live in Frankfurt, as I said, and I think I like to combine a nice drink with good international food. So Bar Schuka is a fantastic place to go to. It's in the Bahnhofsviertel, which is traditionally was a very dodgy place with it's a classic red light district, which is in between the central station and downtown Frankfurt. And in Frankfurt in particular has been quite a dodgy, shady area. And over the last, so when I was a kid, no one, I mean, without criminal intent, went there. But for the last 10, 15, 20 years, there's been a lot of renovation. It's got the most beautiful buildings in the city, no skyscrapers, and a lot of, I'd say, international influenced restaurants and bars have emerged, have come up. So there's a lot of great places to go. So this is where I'd go as a newcomer and try to find, once everything's open again, and let's hope many or all of them have survived. That's where I would go for a good drink. It's cool. It's a cool crowd there, and a lot of good restaurants and place to go for a drink.
Yeah, Alex, thank you a lot for taking the time, answering all my questions. To the audience out there, that was Alex Schlicher from My Football Space.
Thank you, Frank.